The CCTV footage you are watching is of Aminan Rahman. He is walking alongside the Thames River with his wife in a suitcase. He murdered her earlier on that day on video call to another man that she had been seeing. CCTV also showed him leaving the home and the moment that police found the suitcase on the shoreside next to the River Thames. This week he has been jailed after he's been found guilty of murdering his wife and disposing of her body in the suitcase into the River Thames. Aminan Rahman was given a life term to serve a minimum of 22 years at the Old Bailey on the 30th of July 2024. He's 46 years old and he's from Somerset, and he was found guilty of murdering his 24-year-old wife, whose name was Suma Begum. Following a month-long trial at the same court on the 3rd of July, the trial heard how videos saved by a man who is believed to have been in a relationship with Suma, and he lived in the United Arab Emirates, and they showed Rahman threatening to kill his wife while they were having a video chat. And he also was filmed putting his arms around her throat, and the video cut off, and the man said that he could hear screaming sounds. Rahman then called the man back and told him that he'd murdered his wife and showed her unconscious body on the floor. Rahman then put his wife's body in a suitcase and threw it into the nearby Thames. Police were called the next day after Suma's friends and family members became concerned for her welfare. Rahman was arrested on the 2nd of May 2023 and claimed he did not know where she was or what happened to her. He was later charged with her murder on the 4th of May 2023. Suma's body was discovered on the 10th of May the same year by a member of the public in the riverbank on Thames Mead. Detective Inspector Kelly Allen, the lead investigator in the case, says this case demonstrates the Met Police will do everything possible to build a strong case against anybody they believe has perpetrated acts of domestic violence. Aminan Rahman was swiftly identified as the prime suspect, and my team of homicide detectives analysed hundreds of hours of CCTV to trace his movements before and after the murder. We also managed to retrieve and download the full video call that Rahman had made to Suma's believed boyfriend. This further proved that she was killed in a jealous rage. This was a very challenging case, the police said, and Suma's family and friends have had to endure a trial that heard graphic details of how her body was hidden by her husband. Rahman was also convicted of assaulting Suma on the 6th of February 2023. She had made a video which said Rahman had almost killed her by putting his hands around her neck. So this story is really strange and devastating, especially for the family and friends of the victim, but also goes to show how emotions can run high when the relationship begins to fade. This woman was a lot younger than her husband, and maybe there was some sort of issues there, and of course it doesn't justify her having extramarital affairs, but at the same time neither does murdering her. So I really look forward to hearing what the viewers have to say on this story. Rest in peace to Suma, and I'll definitely keep you updated on any news from London in the coming days. In some other news coming from London, a man has been convicted of murdering his housemate, and this story again highlights shared accommodation and some of the facts that they put people that don't know each other into a house, and things do occur, and in so many cases violence and worst case murder is associated to these sorts of properties. Safiyan Chowdhury, 39 years old of no fixed address, was sentenced to life in prison to serve a minimum of 17 years at Oldsworth Crown Court on the 24th of July. He was found guilty of the murder of 40-year-old Christophe Barron in Hayes, and following the conclusion of the trial on the 19th of July. Chowdhury was caught on CCTV making a phone call to emergency services hours after Christophe was attacked and killed inside his room. However, he said to the police that he'd found Christophe with injuries, and CCTV and forensic examination has helped to convict him and prove that he was a murderer and he didn't act in self-defence. Detective Sergeant Andy Shepherd from the Metropolitan Crime Command said this was a needless, brutal murder that Safiyan Chowdhury initially tried to cover up and then later tried to blame the victim, saying he acted in self-defence. The court heard that at around 11 a.m. on the morning of Saturday the 12th of August 2023, police were called to reports of a man seriously injured in a multi-occupancy home on 9 Acres Close in Hayes. Police and the London Ambulance Service attended, and Christophe was found in his room at the address. He was not simply injured, they said. Sadly, he had been dead for some time, and there was a significant amount of blood in the room that clearly identified that it was a crime scene. Chowdhury called for the ambulance and was speaking to police at the time, and they noticed speckles of blood on him. He was arrested on suspicion of murder and taken to a West London police station, and on the 14th of August 2023 he was charged with murder. A post-mortem examination carried out on the 13th of August gave the cause of Christoph's death as a stab wound. He was found to have suffered bruising to his face also, and Chowdhury said that he went to the victim's room on the morning of the murder to check on him and to ask for a cigarette. He said that he didn't know what happened to Christoph, and he would later provide a statement to police via his solicitor that said that he acted in self-defence. CCTV recovered by the police at the address told a different story. Chowdhury was seen in Christoph's room on the evening of Friday the 11th of August, refusing to leave despite the pleas of Christoph. Chowdhury assaulted Christoph by punching him in the side of the head. After the incident, Christoph told Chowdhury he was going to call the police. After this, he followed Chowdhury into his room. Arguing began, bangs were heard, and then CCTV heard a scream, and Chowdhury was then seen leaving the room with a knife in his hand. Chowdhury left the house shortly after, and police viewed CCTV to see that he had the knife with him and it was under his t-shirt. He returned to the address a short time later and was no longer carrying the knife. The murder weapon was never recovered. Chowdhury disposed of evidence such as clothing, and he returned to Christoph's room at approximately 4 o'clock in the morning before finally calling the ambulance service at 11 the next day. So this is a really sad story, and it shows how sometimes people can get bullied in these situations and living in shared accommodation, and other people will take advantage where they can. And thankfully the CCTV was in place, but I strongly believe this is due to the fact of the amount of incidents that occur in these properties, because in reality there shouldn't be CCTV in the kitchen or the hallways of a house, but in shared accommodation they need to ensure the safety and to also convict people if anything happens in these addresses. So I really look forward to hearing what the viewers have to say on this story, and please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. I'll be back again very shortly with some more news, and follow on Telegram, TikTok and Twitter for the latest updates. Peace.